Hello again and welcome to another episode of the Franchise Everything podcast where we talk about everything and anything franchising. And today I'm joined by JP Afflick, who is the owner of Hog's Breath Airlie Beach. JP, hello.
Great to be here. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having us in your fantastic restaurant.
No, pleasure.
It's first time up here. It's been really good. Always a great buzz, so it's great to be around.
It's a lovely spot.
So, mate, I'm holding you up from the Hog's Breath conference right now. They've all gone to dinner and everything like that. So I really appreciate you hanging around for a bit of a chat. Yeah. We're going to talk about your franchise owner journey. And now, where should we start? Now, you're a person who has got fingers in a lot of pies. Where did the Hog's Breath stuff begin for you?
The Hog's Breath journey started for me in '95. I had a friend ride to Darwin. And he rode there for charity on a push bike, of all things.
I was going to say, that was a bicycle, wasn't it? It wasn't
a bicycle,
a motorbike.
Not a motorcycle. And he got up there, and he was an ex-McDonald's worker, actually. And the gentleman who owned Hog's Breath up there was good friends with the guy who owned McDonald's. So we had dinner one night, and he said, "Steve, come on in," And he met Vern Smith, and he said, "Do you want to come work at Hog's Breath?" And he rang me and said, "You want to come up?" So I think late '95, I went up to Darwin. I was working on the Gold Coast just in bars and, food outlets.
Yep.
So I moved to Darwin in '95. Yeah, that was the start of the journey.
So what were your memories of Hog's Breath Darwin?
Oh, the Hog's Breath Darwin was a great store. I think it was third in the chain.
Yeah. It would have been alive and pumping.
Oh, yeah, Darwin was a great spot. It's the last frontier, that's for sure, up there.
I'm ex-Army, so I've been there a few times up there.
Yeah, we used to get a lot of RAF guys and Army guys in.
Yeah.
But it was a good little spot. It was the old Darwin cinema, I believe, outdoor cinema. So it was upstairs opposite the Vic Hotel in the mall. So it had pretty a big nightlife across the road. And we'd had a few late nights sitting on the balcony, watching people come and go.
I bet you did. So how long did you stay up there working in the Darwin store for?
Stayed up there until early '97. The boys up there, Kevin and Vern, made an offer on Byron Bay Hog's Breath. And Stephen, who rode up there for charity, he and I were from the Gold Coast, so it made sense to move back closer to home. Yeah. As much as we love Darwin, but just family and friends, and Byron Bay is not the worst place in the world to be stuck.
Fantastic spot. So when did you take on the Byron Bay business?
We took it over on the 1st of April of all dates, 1997. Yeah,
very poignant, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it went all right. There wasn't a curse. So No.
So was that an existing one or a new one? It
was an existing one. It was a company-owned store. It was run by some locals, the McCabe's at the time, and by satellite management, sort of from Hog's Breath Corporate.
Yeah.
And look, they did the best of their ability. They did a great job, but they sort of had their hands tied a little bit. It's hard running a distance, and technology wasn't then what it is now, of course. So it was phone calls and faxes.
And faxes. I was going to say, I haven't thought of faxes for years.
Yeah.
So what were your first impressions of ownership of a business?
Byron Bay was a great spot then. Airlie reminds me a lot now of what Byron Bay was, '97.
It's certainly not like that now, is it?
No, it's not. No, the money's probably come around a little bit there, but it was great. There were three of us. Actually, Steve's little brother came in as well, and I'd do the day shift, and Jeff and Steve would do the midday to midnight shift, and Jeff would do the late shift. So that was we had a great time there. I think we increased the turnover 100% in the first couple of years.
Yep.
And then I think the third or fourth year, 2001, the boys had an offer to someone came in and made an offer, and we were only a small percentage. I think we were 5 or 10% each.
Yep.
So we didn't have much of a say whether it was to sell or not. But I'm still in Byron, so I stayed there. So it put me in Byron anyway. And
you got in Byron at the right time.
At the right time, yeah. I should add that also in Darwin, I met my wife was a waitress at Hog's Breath. So Hog's Breath, a lot of my lifetime long friends have been ex-franchisees or still current franchisees, and it's sort of it means a lot to me, the chain.
Yeah, and I think when we're talking off camera, you're talking about the culture and family and the feel of the business, particularly back in those early days. That's the same with when every brand really is still up and running at its when it's really driving forward.
That's right. Yeah, it was driving forward, and I was talking to someone the other day, and it was really a clubhouse.
Yeah,
you'd had great food. Had a great culture, great service. So even if food's only good, if you've got a great atmosphere and great service, people have a great time.
Yeah,
it was definitely the place to go for many years. And even when we got out in '01, I always thought I'd get back in.
At some point.
I didn't actually think it would take 24 years or 23 years, but it came around. I thought I'd be back in before then, but life happens and kids happen,
and we'll touch on this one and how you got back into here shortly.
Sure.
But you've got a really diverse career still humming away, and in between when you got out of Byron and even to now, describe some of the other stuff you're up to in your
So I really consider myself really the dumbest person at the table. I have some really good friends who are very intelligent. They've included me, and if I have a good ability to put things into layman's terms, and be very basic on stuff and work it out. MacGyver-ish,
whatever is available, you put it together.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's probably like the bike racing. I'll get onto that if you like a bit later, but. The software we have a business called Equipper, which services the railway industry in Australia for a New South Wales Transport and a bunch of Victorian companies as well. It's sort of our bread and butter, and it's really got some cut through in the last couple of years and pays the bills, and that's it's allowed me to have a bit more of a free. I'm 54, so you hope you're freeing up a little bit as you get older.
Yep.
Life definitely gets busier, but you hope you're a little more financially freer, and Equipper's allowed me to be that.
So how did you stumble into doing that sort of stuff? So you've gone from, for example, you went from Byron Bay Hog's Breath, part owner of that, and then somehow ended up in a software business.
Well, in between, I actually ran the biggest nightclub in Byron Bay for a few years called
Still not connected to software.
Cheeky Monkeys, no. No, but what Cheeky Monkeys did was we came up with an idea to make this video app at the time, and we did that, and we ended up working for like Heineken and going to the rugby sevens and filming people and doing the video app. And then that sort of morphed into a pest control app through friends, and then that went to the railway.
Who needed a solution.
Yeah, you're in the industry. You've got a foot in the door, and opportunities are given to you if people see you're willing to help them out. I guess. Yeah. Like I say, I have great business partners who are smart guys. So
Yeah.
I'm just the guy who does
the
the
right
legwork.
place at the right time.
Yeah, the right place at the right time.
Excellent. So you touched on bikes. What was your detail on the bikes?
Yeah, so look, my dad used to race motorcycles in the 70s and 80s. He was actually Australian drag bike champion in 1980. We went to Bonneville. A lot of people have seen The World's Fastest Indian, Burt Munro, the story, the movie with Anthony Hopkins.
With Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
So we went to Bonneville in 2010, and it was such a magnificent place.
Well, that's in the States,
in Utah, in America, and they get 500 teams there every August, and they try to set a land speed world record, and we thought we had to be part of that. So we came home, we did nothing. We went back in 2012, and we came home, we did something. So 2021, we set the 100cc world record at 211 kilometres an hour, and just a few months ago, I set the 50cc world record at about 170 kilometres an hour, in Australia, but this time.
How does it feel going 170 k's an hour on a 50cc bike?
No, it feels pretty good.
Does it feel rickety?
No, it's pretty good. It's a bit of a lounge chair ride, really. On a good day, they have a lot of aerodynamics. So as long as there's no wind, it has to be a still day and perfect. A lot of people don't realise you can have all the power in the world, but if it's a windy day or the conditions aren't right, you can't set the world record. And the 50cc one was harder than the 100, I should say, because in the 60s and 70s in Europe, they raced 50s as MotoGP bikes. So there's a lot of old 50cc's around that went fast. So and Europeans like their little bikes. So and I'm not a little guy to push through the air. So
you got to tuck in.
Yeah, you got to tuck in. Yeah, that's right.
We saw some. You won't be able to see it on camera and everything like that, but there was a bunch of photos there. That's why this came up as a topic, because I could see all these looked like land speed record photos of everything.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
That's what you get up to in your spare time.
That's right, and that's that MacGyver thing again, I guess. It's being able to. How land speed racing appeals is that you can still race against an amateur team can still race against a pro team. You can still. It's the last amateur motorsport in the world, really. It's and it's not cookie cutter.
It's pure essence, pure racing, pure amateur racing.
If you've got an idea and you think that your 50 can beat that 50, well, you can go to Bonneville.
So here's a bit of a broad question: what do you sort of take away from what you do in that, bringing it back to business? So what learnings do you take out of it? There's got to be some stuff.
Well, I think one thing that is comparable to Hog's Breath is that, and I do a lot of the rookie stuff now. I've been doing it for 12 years, so I take the rookies in Australia every year. And one thing I tell them is that, to get around the nerves on the start line, it's just repetition, and having those systems in place, And I think that's probably the same as Hog's Breath here. We have a lot of systems in place. I think those two things align there, and if you have the systems in place and you follow the guides, the nerves go, and it's become second nature. So, you're ready to go and set a world record if you can.
Oh, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it is nice.
So let's speaking of speed, let's move forward to how you've ended up here. You've got a lot of stuff that's gone between 2001 leaving Byron to now. What was the path to get you to this point? How have you ended up now being an owner? So you've been owner of this Airlie Beach location for...
About 15 months.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've been coming to Airlie Beach for 30 years. I actually came here, I think it was Don's 60th birthday. So it's probably
Don Algie, who's
the founder.
Of Yep.
So co-founder, I should say. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, 25 years, I should say.
Yep.
And when we got out of Hog's Breath, Byron, I was lucky enough to still sail with Don every year. So I'd still come up here every year if I could. The Bonneville thing is actually the first week in August when Airlie Beach Race Week is. So I stopped racing with Don, but I started just sailing casually with him. We'd go, look, some of the trips we had off North Queensland, doing nothing were probably better than racing because you're doing nothing and you're in the middle
just
of nowhere,
relaxing,
with a beer and telling jokes with the guys,
Yeah.
So I stayed in touch with Don and the family, and we used to come here a lot, So I saw the different owners here at the OG, we call it, Airlie Beach, and I always wanted to be a part of it again. I thought if I'd ever get the opportunity. And it was run successfully for a few years there, and then just some people ran it to their best of their abilities, and didn't quite work out. So then it came up a couple of years ago. We made an offer on it, and a year later they accepted a counter offer, and here we are. Yeah,
here you are today.
Here we are.
14 months in. So, but you still live in Byron?
Still live in Byron.
So you have a business partner that...
I do have a business partner, Adam Zakharoff. Yeah. No, he worked for head office and ran their can store. I talked to Hog's Breath. Have they got anyone in the system they think could help me out? And he's a lovely guy. He's a friend of the Algies as well. So we never knew each other. I remember we took over, and the current manager who was here, Ash, he's still here now, and he's a great guy. We've kept him. He's a Fijian guy with a big smile. He went on a month's holiday the day we took over. I remember here being the first night we took over, and we didn't know what knob did what.
So he went on a holiday the day you took over.
That's right.
Okay, nice.
He had something already booked, so it just worked out that way. Some religious Fijian holiday. So I remember being here the first night, thinking how do we turn that fan off, or how do we shut that down? How do we lock the door?
You're trying to remember stuff from 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's it. That I think the fun and the culture was there, but just the intricacies of running the place. I did think for that first couple of weeks, what are we doing here?
Yeah. So how often do you get up here?
Try to make it up here 1 week in 5.
Yep.
1 week in 4 or 5. I've just finished a bathroom renovation, so I've been up here for a week on my knees in the bathroom there. So
doing tiling and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm pretty hands-on here. Adam is a great people person.
Yeah.
He doesn't know which end of a screwdriver to hold, but so I pretty much handle the maintenance and the high level stuff.
Yeah.
And the marketing wise, I don't need to know if the waitress can't make it to work. That stuff messes with my head a bit. I'm sort of more high level, So it's
you're like, don't tell me. Just
it's your part. And I'm sure he says to other people that's JP's part when he comes up. So it's worked well for two guys who really never knew each other.
Yeah. So that's an interesting way to form a business relationship.
It is.
Did you have any? I wouldn't say concerns, but was thinking, oh gosh, is this the right path to take?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course you have concerns. But there was some history there with the Algies, and they knew Adam, and I try to hang out with him a fair bit when I'm here, and you get to know people pretty well. We're very different people. Very different, but it seems to be working. And he's here for another 12 months.
Yep.
That was the original deal. It was 2.5 years here. So we'll set a plan hopefully over the next 12 months for to move on past there when he leaves. Yeah.
So you said something interesting when we were chatting off air before this about his role and what he does, and you think it's such a crucial part of a Hog's Breath business. Can you describe what you were talking about, what he does?
I really think the restaurant industry has gone full circle, and we really expect service again. I don't think we need to know that we've got Bangalore sweet pork or prawns from Byron Bay, but I think the service is such an important part, And Adam will meet people at the door. He'll walk them to their table, ask their name, where they're from, And it's not unusual for us to have people in here on holidays who will dine with us 2, 3, 4 times. Yeah, lunch, dinner. So it's very important. We actually even give up 1% or 2% in wage percentages, to what the norm is, just for that, to build that longevity in the business.
Yeah, to hold people. To
I believe you can have
members.
like it's Hog's Breath food. It's steak and 3 veg. It's pretty casual. I believe the food at Hog's is good. But I believe our atmosphere and our service here is great. So I think if you can have great 2 out of 3, people will still have a great time.
Excellent. So what do you see for the future? What's other locations for Hog's Breath potentially for you, or how other involved are you looking to be in the business going forward?
Oh, look, I think I could be involved here in Airlie, for a long time. We have find out who's going to replace Adam in 12 months' time. Probably not another Hog's Breath for me because, there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
But to me, it's really the legacy of this store. For me, it's the first store in the chain. Now we market it as the OG Hogs, and I've known the Algies for 25 years, and they are good family friends. You know, I really felt I'm really doing this for Don and Ginger, really, and now. That it must have been hard for them to walk past the store, and it had a bad name in town, and they worked in town. You know what I mean? Like to
over
be
years,
yeah, for years, other years. So I'm pretty sure they can hold their head high in town now. And I even talked with some franchisee today who caught an Uber here, and they asked how Hog's Breath, and they said, "Oh, it's great." You know, like, so, you know, if you can get that word around town, and it's a very competitive town, restaurant-wise. There's some great restaurants. I eat at Paradiso and Case. I eat at KC's, the other steakhouse in town, all the time, you know, because different steak, different foods, different types, but
different experiences.
Different experiences, and it's good. You know, the worst restaurant you can take something great out of, you know. So everyone does a little different job, but, you know, it's holding its own and it's doing well,
Excellent. Well, JP, mate, that was a fascinating story, mate. Thanks for filling us in on that and telling us your story, mate. It's much appreciated.
I hope you come back in 5 years and see me.
I'm sure we will. I normally say 2 years. I'll be back and see how you're going.
No worries.
And thanks also to let us film here in your restaurant and everything. Just sort of try and keep out of the way of the
staff.
staff.
I appreciate
Everyone's
that.
trying to do their thing, mate. Really appreciate it.
No, thanks for your time.
Excellent pleasure,
Thank
mate.
you.
And that's it for this one. If you enjoyed this, please share, like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff, and we'll catch you in the next one soon.